Emma's story begins with her guitar, and while to others it may seem like just an instrument, for her it is far more than that. The guitar is her companion, her way of pouring out emotions she cannot put into words. Every chord, every note becomes a reflection of her heart, a bridge between her inner world and the outside one. This is where the power of longing and passion enters the story. Emma is not simply a music student practicing for the sake of skill. She is a young woman searching for meaning and connection through her art. Her passion for music is tied closely to her desire for love, belonging, and something that can fill the quiet emptiness she feels in her life. Passion, when genuine, is never just about the activity itself. It becomes a window into the soul of the person who carries it. For Emma, the guitar is not just an object she plays, it is her way of expressing vulnerability, of reaching out for something more even when words fail her. She plays because it gives her comfort, but deep inside, every melody she creates is also a call for connection. She wants someone to hear, to understand, to feel with her. This longing makes her relatable because everyone at some point has felt the same desire to be known and loved for who they truly are. The story reminds us that passion often reveals what the heart is truly searching for. In Emma's case, her devotion to music uncovers her deeper need for love and companionship. It is not accidental that her journey toward romance begins in the presence of her guitar. That instrument, the thing she leans on during moments of loneliness, becomes a silent witness to her fate. It represents both her solitude and her hope for something greater. Through music, she keeps alive a quiet belief that life has more to offer than routine, and it is this belief that opens her to noticing the man with the roses. When Emma first sees Will, she does not know his name, his story, or his intentions. What draws her attention is not just the roses in his hand but the way that image resonates with her own longing. She is a dreamer, guided by her passion, and because of that she is sensitive to signs of love, beauty, and possibility. Without her deep yearning, she might have walked past him without a second thought. Instead, her heart is open, and she allows that brief encounter to spark something inside her. Passion has prepared her for the moment when fate whispers. There is also a universal truth reflected in Emma's story: when people have a passion that grounds them, it often leads them to the connections they are seeking. Passion shapes character, gives depth, and creates a magnetic pull that draws others in. Emma's love for music is not just her personal outlet, it is what makes her visible to Will in return. Just as she notices the kindness in his roses, he later remembers the girl with the guitar. Each sees in the other a reflection of something they value. Emma sees sincerity, and Will sees soulful passion. This reciprocity shows how longing and passion do not remain hidden, they radiate outward, attracting those who are meant to notice. Emma's story teaches us that the things we love most can guide us toward the love we are meant to find. Her music is not wasted time, nor is it simply a way to pass lonely evenings. It is a vessel carrying her emotions until the right person arrives to share them. The longing within her is what makes her human, and the passion she pours into her guitar ensures that when fate finally delivers Will into her life, she is ready to recognize what she has been waiting for. Love, after all, is not separate from our passions, it grows out of them, shaped by the things that matter most to us. Emma's guitar, and the longing it represents, becomes the thread that leads her from solitude to destiny, reminding us that passion is often the first step on the path to love. When we think about love, it is often easy to imagine dramatic gestures, lavish gifts, bold declarations, or sweeping acts of romance that feel larger than life. Yet, in reality, the heart is rarely moved by grand shows alone. Instead, it is the simple, thoughtful actions that reveal who a person truly is and create bonds that last. In the story of Emma and Will, this truth is illustrated through Will's habit of carrying flowers for his grandmother. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary act, something small and routine. But when we look deeper, it becomes clear that this detail defines his character more than any dramatic scene could. It shows kindness, loyalty, and a deep respect for the people who matter most to him. Will's flowers are not just gifts, they are symbols of his nature, A man who takes time to bring roses to his grandmother is someone who understands love in its most genuine form. He is not seeking attention or praise. Instead, he is showing care quietly, without expecting anything in return. This kind of love is steady, grounded, and authentic. It tells us that Will values relationships not because of what he gains but because of the joy and warmth he can give. In a world where people often chase after big, dramatic expressions of affection, his simple gesture reminds us that real love often hides in the smallest of details. Emma's noticing of Will with the roses is a significant moment. She could have ignored him as just another passerby, but something about the scene caught her heart. This is because small acts of kindness carry a silent power that others instinctively recognize. Emma, a young woman who lives through her music and longs for connection, sees in Will a reflection of the values she cherishes deep inside. Her guitar is her way of showing emotion without words, and in Will's roses she finds a parallel, a quiet act that speaks louder than anything spoken aloud. Their connection begins not through conversation or dramatic events but through mutual recognition of something deeper, sincerity. The beauty of this point lies in its universal truth. We all crave someone who shows love not just with words but with actions, no matter how small. A person who is gentle and thoughtful in everyday life is more trustworthy than someone who reserves their affection only for special occasions. This is why Will's character feels real and admirable. He reminds us that kindness should not be occasional but consistent, that the truest measure of love lies in how we treat people day after day. Moreover, the act of giving flowers to his grandmother reflects something timeless, a respect for family and for the bonds that shape us. In many cultures, the relationship with grandparents is a symbol of continuity, wisdom, and tradition. By honoring his grandmother in this simple way, Will shows that he values love across generations, not just romantic love but the deeper, foundational ties that make us who we are. For Emma, who is searching for connection, this becomes even more meaningful. She does not simply see a man carrying roses, she sees a man capable of love that is gentle, consistent, and rooted in values. As their story unfolds, the roses continue to symbolize more than just flowers. They become a bridge between them, a quiet reminder of the kind of man Will is and the kind of love Emma longs for. The tenderness of that moment lingers, making their eventual meeting feel not like chance but like the natural unfolding of something meant to be. In this way, the roses are more than props in a story, they are threads of destiny, weaving kindness into the path of love. The lesson here is clear: kindness is never wasted. The world often celebrates the loud and the extravagant, but true affection is built in the quiet choices we make every day. When Will carries flowers, he is not only caring for his grandmother but unknowingly opening the door for Emma to notice him. And when Emma feels moved by this gesture, it becomes the first spark of a connection that fate continues to nurture. Love, in this story, is born not out of spectacle but out of sincerity, showing us that the purest bonds often grow from the simplest of seeds. The story of Emma and Will carries with it a recurring theme of chance encounters, moments when their paths cross but do not quite join. These repeated meetings form the heart of the idea that destiny is at work, gently nudging two people closer together even when circumstances hold them apart. Point 3. The role of destiny in their repeated encounters shows us how love is not always a straight line but rather a winding path full of missed opportunities, delays, and almosts. Yet, within those almosts lies a promise that when two people are meant to meet, fate will not give up until the connection is fulfilled. Each time Emma and Will cross paths, it is as though the universe is offering them another chance to notice one another more deeply. The first time is marked by Emma's quiet recognition of Will carrying roses, a simple image that lingers in her memory. It does not lead to a conversation or an immediate relationship, but it plants a seed in her heart. Later, when their paths cross again, that seed grows into curiosity and a quiet longing. Still, destiny holds back, almost as if testing their patience, making them wait for the right time. This delay mirrors real life, where the right person may appear at the wrong moment, And yet, if the connection is genuine, life continues to weave circumstances that bring them together again. The repeated encounters serve another purpose: they build anticipation. If Emma and Will had met fully at their first glance, the story might have been shorter, less filled with the quiet magic of waiting. But fate understands that love is not only about meeting but also about timing. The gaps between their encounters create space for both of them to grow, to reflect, and to recognize the depth of what they are truly searching for. Each missed chance sharpens their awareness, making the eventual meeting far more powerful than it would have been if it had happened too easily. These moments of almost connection also highlight the fragility of life. We often pass by strangers without realizing how significant they could be in our lives. Emma could have ignored Will with the roses, and Will could have dismissed the memory of the girl with the guitar. Yet, fate insists that certain meetings cannot be overlooked. By bringing them together again and again, destiny refuses to let their potential connection fade away. It is as if an unseen hand keeps turning them back toward each other, reminding them that their story is not yet finished. The beauty of these repeated encounters lies in the balance between choice and destiny. Fate may create opportunities, but it is up to Emma and Will to notice, to feel, and to respond. Their longing grows because of these missed chances, and so when they finally meet, their connection feels destined, not forced. This interplay between fate and free will gives their love story its emotional depth. It tells us that while destiny sets the stage, love is ultimately written by those willing to take the step forward when the time is right. For Emma, every fleeting glimpse of Will reinforces the idea that love is possible, that the universe has something waiting for her. For Will, each sighting of Emma reminds him that the girl with the guitar is not just a stranger but someone his heart cannot forget. Their mutual recognition, even without words, builds an invisible thread between them, a bond that grows stronger with each encounter. It is destiny working quietly, weaving their lives together in ways they do not yet fully understand. Ultimately, the lesson from their repeated crossings is that love is not always immediate or straightforward. Sometimes it takes time, patience, and trust in the mysterious workings of life. Destiny may keep us waiting, but it also ensures that when the moment finally comes, it is filled with meaning and clarity. For Emma and Will, every near miss and delayed meeting only makes the final encounter more powerful, as though fate had been writing their story all along. It is a reminder that even in the missed moments, love is quietly working, shaping the path toward the one who is meant to be ours. When Emma and Will finally meet face to face, after so many fleeting encounters and missed opportunities, the moment carries a weight far greater than any ordinary meeting between two strangers. It is not just about two people noticing each other, it is about recognition on a much deeper level. This recognition is both external and internal. Externally, they see each other as they are in reality, no longer glimpses across a street or fleeting images in passing. Internally, they realized something even more profound, that the love, comfort, and companionship they had both been quietly searching for has been walking alongside them all along. This is the transformative power of recognition, the kind that turns curiosity into certainty and longing into fulfillment. For Emma, this meeting validates the quiet hopes she carried with her guitar. She had longed for someone who could understand the emotions she poured into her music, someone who could see beyond the surface and recognize her heart. The instant she and Will finally meet, she senses that she has been seen, truly and completely. It is not the kind of recognition that requires words, but one that flows naturally, as if both of them had been waiting for this moment without even knowing it. Her loneliness, expressed in her songs, begins to dissolve because she has found someone who mirrors her own longing. For Will, the moment is equally powerful. Until then, Emma had been the girl with the guitar, a figure who lingered in his mind but remained out of reach. The final meeting allows him to step beyond memory and imagination into reality. He no longer carries just the image of her, he carries the truth of who she is. This recognition gives him clarity. He understands that Emma is not just another passing face but someone tied to his destiny. His kindness, expressed in his simple acts like bringing flowers to his grandmother, now finds a new purpose, as if all of those small gestures were leading him to this connection. The significance of this recognition lies in how it transforms both Emma and Will. Before this meeting, their lives had been shaped by longing: Emma for love and connection, Will for companionship beyond his family ties. The repeated near misses had only deepened these desires. But the face-to-face encounter marks a turning point, where longing turns into fulfillment, where uncertainty becomes understanding. This is what makes the moment transformative. It is not merely about attraction or curiosity, but about realization that what they sought outside themselves has finally come to life before them. Another layer of transformation comes from the fact that their recognition is mutual. One-sided longing can be painful, but when two people see each other in the same light at the same moment, it creates a harmony that feels almost divine. This harmony is what makes destiny feel real in their story. It is as if all of the waiting, the missed chances, and the delays were necessary steps leading them to a moment where both were ready to recognize and accept each other fully. Love that arrives too early may falter, but love that arrives at the right time becomes lasting. The moment of recognition also has symbolic value. Emma's guitar, once a symbol of solitude, is no longer just her comfort, it becomes part of the story that drew Will to her. Will's roses, once symbols of his devotion to his grandmother, become symbols of the kind of heart he brings into their connection. When they finally see each other, all these symbols converge, creating a sense of inevitability. It is as though fate had been telling their story through these small details long before they themselves understood it. In the end, the transformative moment of recognition is not just about meeting, it is about knowing. It is about realizing that all the longing, the searching, and the waiting were not in vain. Emma and Will's journey teaches us that when love finally appears, it carries with it a sense of truth, as if it had been written into our lives from the beginning. Their recognition is the turning point that changes everything, reminding us that destiny does not simply bring people together, it reveals the truth that was always waiting to be seen.